Hey guys, so first of all, before even this video starts, okay, because I know this has the most watch time essentially, I'm going to be starting a series where I will answer any question you have about outbound, like cold email, LinkedIn outreach, Clay, whatever it is, right? So you can write the question in the comments in the like community section on my profile. I will try to do it daily if there are enough questions. If there are not, I will just pick like mm, some questions from, for example, like Slack channels on Clay, on Instantly, on Smartly, or whatever, right? That are most common, so I can hopefully help some people, whether they are starting with outbound or just bring some clarity into it. So that out of the way, what I want to talk about today is show you how I think about cold email and maybe hopefully give you some value and some new ideas that you can bring into your company. So these results have been for our client. It was like week and 2 weeks ago, this campaign. So pretty new essentially, and they have performed very well to essentially to cold traffic, right? So I want to explain to you like what was my thought process and how I came up with this idea. I'm not going to tell you like exactly, because of course I need to gatekeep a bit, because I don't want to fuck up the campaign for my client. But yeah, so the first thing is, how are you thinking about leads, right? Lead sourcing. If you are purely getting your leads from say like Apollo or ZoomInfo, you are like destined to fail essentially, like at this time of outbound or cold email, because I can guarantee you and assure you, like, every company is getting spammed with that same generic messaging, like, hey, we help marketing agencies run their Facebook ads profitably, we can guarantee you, I don't know, like 30K in 3 months, right? You need to stand out in some way, and most of the time these people are not even reading those messages anymore. They're just completely ignoring and just going straight to trash or spam. So you need to think of where your ICP is hanging out, right? Like on what platforms, on whatever, like if it's LinkedIn groups, Reddit, I don't know, like G2 reviews, whatever, right? Whatever is scrapable, you can just essentially everything is scrapable, right? So if you think about deeply, maybe use GPT-o3, right, to create that research and just trying to find your prospects where they are before taking an action on your service, essentially what I'm trying to say. I hope that give you some ideas, and it wasn't complete disaster in explaining, but yeah. The second point is like using AI in the right way. What I mean by that is not just generically personalizing the list that you pulled from, let's say, whatever, even Crunchbase, and then just like put it into Clay, right? The thing is, putting a generic personalization and generic offer and slapping personalization on it won't cut it essentially, because most people can just see through it and it's not relevant, right? So you can personalize something, but once the personalization is not relevant to your offer, it's just pointless essentially. Not pointless, I mean, some people like are gonna be like, okay, where did you find that I went to fucking Midtown Science School or whatever, right? But 99% of them are just going to ignore it, like it wasn't even there. So think about like how you can use AI to personalize your list, like not directly the copy but the list, right? How you can, for example, score the leads, how you can find certain information about your leads with ClayGen, right? With technology stacks, like what is the best situation that your customer should be in to need your service, essentially, right? And then reach out to them. Even if the list is very, very small, but your messaging is purely relevant or piques their curiosity enough to respond, then where you are in that golden spot, I think. And that's when we come to another point, like copywriting, right? You want to think about copy like get them to respond and get them like to be curious about your offer. You want to hit that activation point that is simple to simple enough to get them to respond. For example, only like yes, right? You don't want to make them respond in some long paragraph. Make them think about the response, right? Because you're just gonna lose the lead essentially. Like for example, when you click on a Facebook ad campaign and everything is just like yes, 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 make it like as frictionless as possible, because you are reaching out to cold traffic. You are not reaching out to your email list that people opted in, right? So I guess I already covered in these 3 points like the idea and the reason behind the campaign. The general thing is like you want to catch your ICP even before they have shown intent. For example, on sites like Crunchbase or LinkedIn job postings, like these generic intent signals, right? You want to catch them even before all the outbound and cold email agencies can get to them and just spam them with the same messaging. So think about like what are the actions that your prospect is most likely taking before needing your service or doing the stuff that they need your service to, if that makes sense, right? And I guess that's behind the campaign structure and like the reasoning behind it. And let's just get to reply handling. This one is pretty simple, but I just see so many people screwing it up. You need to reply in less than 5 minutes, essentially. Otherwise, there is like 90% chance of losing the lead, which is horrible because you have worked so hard for that lead and you just lose it because you don't respond. So, for example, what I did, I just created a GPT that I prompted in the way that I wanted to respond, and I just copy paste the email thread in the GPT and I get a response in a second. So that's one way you can do it if you're not already doing it like that. And it's just a quick point that I want to mention because I have seen so many people just screwing it up. And the last point I want to talk about is like following up with the leads. Like, I can't stress enough how important it is to follow up with your leads like every fucking day once they positively responded or you see that they are interested in the service. Just follow up with them every day until you get a clear no, right? I've seen people just like saying when the prospect is not responding to you, that's their way of saying no. Like, okay, then just put in your PS line, if you don't want to be contacted by me or follow up with me by me again, just say no, right? Also make it frictionless, but follow up with them. I literally got a book call after 15 days of following up yesterday. So you can see like sometimes people just get busy, right? Some bigger companies, there are more things to think about like internally than your offer. So it's not their number one priority. So just follow up with value, follow up with industry insight, with case studies, with something that gives them value, right? And just push to the call on CTA, give them some free lead magnet or whatever, right? So that's essentially what I wanted to talk about. I hope it gave you some value and some new perspective on how you can launch your campaigns. If you want to talk with me on how this can work for you, just like again, book code down below, reach out to me. And if you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them every day because I want to create it like a daily daily thing, right? So hope it was valuable, and see you. Bye bye.